Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block. This week's special guest is Mr. Daniel Shafer, a young man who really blows me away with his songwriting. So Daniel, how are you doing? Good to have you on the show.
Doing good.
So tell me about yourself, man. Where were you born?
I was born in Katy, Texas, right outside of Houston. I don't remember much about it because we moved here to the Phoenix City Smith Station area when I was about 3 years old. So I was born and raised in Alabama mostly.
Cool. Well, what brought your family here?
Well, Houston was going through a really rough period with a lot of people moving out because jobs were disappearing, and the financial crisis around that time. I think it was back around 90 in Houston. So my dad got offered a job in Columbus, and so it was too good to pass up, so we moved right after he got offered.
What did he do?
He was actually working as I think it was a safety engineer for the carbon black plant, the was it Conoco, I think, back at the time, which has been center for controversy over the past few years after he left. But
what do they do exactly?
They made carbon black for tires and things like that.
Okay. I was just wondering because I happen to have a pair of carbon black jeans. Nice jeans, by the way. Well, that's cool. Now, do you have brothers and sisters?
I have 2 older brothers and 2 younger brothers. And all brothers, separated by about 3 years apiece. So I'm stuck right there in the middle.
Wow. Are any of them musical?
Very much so. I think I only have one brother that doesn't play music. My oldest brother is a songwriter also, and my younger 2 brothers were in high school band, things like that.
Well, now, are they in this area as well?
My oldest brother is in Auburn. Next to oldest is in Seattle, but the others are still here.
You need to get them to come out to open mic.
Maybe.
Now, did they influence your music, or is it something you just came up with on your own, or what made you decide that you wanted to do music?
I'd always wanted to do music. My father is an amateur songwriter, has been pretty much his whole life. He played guitar when he was younger, and now he still is playing guitar and piano and everything. And we played with the church for a long time. I still play at church, and so since I was about maybe 11, 12, I was playing something. And so I'd always wanted to be like my dad. And as far as like the brothers, it does influence my lyrics and my songwriting because there's a lot of strange things that come along with being the middle child of such a big family as 5 boys. And so that does influence a little bit, yeah.
Was there a lot of fights?
A lot. Still are, so it's...
I have a brother, and my brother and I have always been best friends. I have 3 sisters, and, well, anyway. So, as far as getting started with music, were there artists, like artists you hear on the radio or records that you would have, or CDs? What were your influences as far as that, and what made you decide as far as, like a lot of people, you pick up a guitar and they play for a long time, and at some point they start writing songs. Not everybody, but what made you decide that you wanted to write your own songs?
Well, I was very limited to the amount of music that I was able to listen to as a child and growing up, probably until I was 13, 14, hit junior high. And so I listened to pretty much contemporary Christian. That's just the way it went. And so, like Michael W. Smith, Stephen Curtis Chapman were big influences on me because they were so different from what I was hearing at church and hearing usually. And so I just got super into them, learned a lot of their songs. And then about 13 or 14, when I started to get around and have more friends, I started to listen to other types of music. And like Bob Dylan and listening to the Beatles and everything like that, and I thought it was so strange that I could identify so well with these guys that were so far before me, and so that made me think, well, maybe music is more of a connecting piece sometimes. And so I would write songs to be able to convey the emotions that I wasn't able to at that time period.
Right.
Going through that really tough period, I had always written poetry, but I just started to mix it with music. And so I started experimenting with different things. And it's cool.
And amazing things that those experimentations brought to light. Yeah, music very much is a connecting force. The Valley music scene is a prime example of that. Everybody plays together. There's very little competition. It's all very much a family feeling. So much cooperation. So I knew when I asked you influences, because everybody that's been on here so far has said Bob Dylan. I knew that name was coming, and I have only recently really gotten into Bob Dylan myself. I've never been a huge Bob Dylan fan, mainly because what I've got 3 sisters and a brother. They listen to the Beatles, Air Supply, Billy Joel, all that stuff. So Bob Dylan was not something that I ever really listened to. So now, when you're friends with Travis Mackey,
right?
Now, he brought you out to open mic, did
he? He did. He actually. I had played at open mic a few times before, about a year prior, and I liked it. It was okay. It didn't seem quite as cohesive as it is now. It was just kind of you come, you play, you leave.
Yeah.
And so I played a few times, and it was okay. And then I just got busy and stopped coming. And then Travis invited me to come back out. He said that it was really cool. Had a lot of cool people out there, and so I came back and thought I'd perform some of the songs I've been working on in the meantime, and got a really good response to it. And everybody's friendly, and it's just kind of like a family out there. It's cool.
It really is. Let's go to one of Daniel's songs, and we'll be right back.
This is Drawing Lines. Sweet and tender is the kiss that turns a solemn heart to bliss, and in a moment it redefines a life spent drawing lines. Like the sun, you rise and fall. Call me from the black below. The withered leaves of discontent bend to watch the cosmic show. Streaks of light pierce through the haze as waves of life coax waste to grow. Awake my soul, what shines above is love to end this tale of woe. Sweet and tender is the kiss that turns a solemn heart to bliss. How sweet and tender was that kiss that turned this solemn heart to bliss. For in a moment it redefined a life spent drawing lines.